Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Akai coming to you with another one. Now, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please feel free to subscribe and like the video. Why am I asking you to like the video? Because that actually helps the algorithm, okay, on YouTube, so that other people that are interested in this content to actually get to this content. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about something that I've noticed. And what I've noticed in my years is that in general, people, they just make blanket statements that are not based in reality, and they don't take the time to look at the mathematics, which are the statistics, or any other research pertaining to the topic. They're out in public and they just make blanket statements that have no basis at all whatsoever. They can't prove anything. And that's what they do. And I just think, for me, in my opinion, I just think that's a bad habit, because if you get out in public around some really intelligent people, they're going to ask you, oh, well, what research did you know? Where did you read that in an article? You get that, did you read an article, or, did you look at statistics, or did you do anything else or whatnot? That's what they're going to tell you. So most people, what I have noticed, make statements based in emotion on how they feel versus the research and the math. That's what they tend to do. Okay. And secondly, because the bottom line is that they generalize to the population. And if you ever took a stats class, you cannot ever generalize to a population. So what I like to do is give some examples that I noted of what you shouldn't do. Okay, so number one, you can't make a blanket statement about the white American population, so to speak, as an example. Okay? Don't take this personal. You can't make a blanket statement about the white population here in America and you haven't done the research or the stats. Why is it that you can't do that? If you wanted to do that, you would have to travel to state by state and city by city. You would have to have them take surveys, find out who's willing to participate in your study, and then after that, then you have to gather the data, and you have to travel to state by state by state. Okay, so if we got 52 states, you got to go to every state and see what white Americans feel or think about certain things. But if you just make a blanket statement and say white Americans are like this, I watched some videos on YouTube, or I was watching X or whatever, and this is how I feel. Nobody cares about how you feel. Where's the evidence? I always say evidence by what? Oh, that was an interesting statement. So evidence by what? Where'd you get that from? Because most people just like, oh, that sounds really interesting. No, it's stupid. It's stupid. So another example would be that all women just want your money and nothing else. You can't make a blanket statement like that. That's pretty ignorant. Okay? So why is it that you can't make a blanket statement on that? Do you know what you would have to do? You would have to go to state by state, city by city in each state. Then you would have to get the information about your study out there. Then you would have to say that you want to date all these women, at least take them on a couple of dates. All right? And then you would have to see if they would take surveys about, what their feelings are, what their thoughts are. That's exactly what you would have to do, essentially. I mean, if you're going to do the study by itself. But if you're just going to say, all these women out here, they just want your money. When people say that, they stupid, they ignorant. Because every woman out here doesn't just want your money. Have you dated all of them? So if a woman says that all men, you know what, men, they ain't no good. They just all lie, they do this and all that crap, right? But she's only gone on some dates for maybe in her area, in her state, in her city, maybe over the past 5, 10 years or whatever, she went on some dates and things just for whatever reason they didn't last. So she said, you know what, men, it just ain't no good. Okay, well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Have you dated everyone? Have you dated every man? Why are you saying that men are no good when my question to you is, have you dated every man in your city that was available? Have you dated every man that was available in your state? Have you gotten on a plane or took your car and went to Wisconsin and Alabama and Florida and all these other states, and dated these men and then said, hey, can I have you take a survey? I'm doing research on men. That's what you would have to do. But when you hear, if a woman just makes a blanket statement, she's making herself look ignorant. If that person does that, they're speaking out of ignorance. And sometimes they're not really meaning to do it, but that's just what it is. Okay? Another blanket statement is single fathers are not involved in their children's life. Say, generally, they really don't want to. Have you done the research? Have you done the research to be able to actually wholeheartedly make that statement and it be correct? No. Well, you just say, well, I'm not going to say all, but from the ones that are in my area, I decided to, you can say in the city and the state that you went, that you actually really did a fortified study in the city where you are, and you were able to gather some data. So here's the deal. If your data is just for your city, like your study is just for your city, and that's the study, then you have to keep it there. You can't say, well, based on my study, single fathers in the United States are not involved in their children's life. You can't say that. You have to keep it specific to the city that you in, and you actually did a study, not you just talking off the top of your head. So why did I make this video? I made this video so that you guys would understand, when you're making statements, in order for it to be based in reality, that you have to have really done your research and looked at statistics, and it may be such a vast way to work, because it's so much that you have to do that you might have to just literally get out there in the field. That's what I'm saying. And you have to be willing to do that before you're standing out there, or you're on video or whatever, you're someplace giving a presentation, or you're around family or friends or whatever, and you're just making blanket statements. So that's basically it. That's all I got for today. I just wanted to send you a grand rising, everyone. That's what I would like to do. I send you peace. I want you to have prosperity. I want you to be healthy, because health is good. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, feel free to do so. Go ahead and subscribe, so that way you get this stuff, hit the bell, and also like the video, because if you like the video, there'll be other people just like you that have an opportunity to actually get this information. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Akai out.